I just deleted a whole video. Anyway, let's start again then, in that case. Hello. This is Elmarie from Worcester, South Africa. Oh, Western Cape, by the way. Today is the 4th of December. Very, very hot. Sorry for that. It's the chair I'm sitting on. Monday. And, well, yeah, it's nearly 7 o'clock. So I see. And Windows just told me it needed to update. It's not going to update now. I'm not updating anything now. Okay. So, it is summer in South Africa. It is hot in the Western Cape. We had a couple of cold days. We had a cold front coming over. We're having a heat wave this weekend. It's like picking up. I think today is 27 degrees Celsius, if I'm not mistaken. 27, 29 degrees Celsius. The weather is going up to 40 degrees Celsius, 39, 40 degrees Celsius by Friday, I think. Yeah, Friday. Now, here's the tricky bit. Let me tell you the tricky bit. It is a drought season. It's drought in the Western Cape still. We still haven't had enough water. Here in my area, we actually have enough water. If we take very good care of that water, I think that will take us through summer. It should. It should. But we still have water restrictions. Yeah. In Cape Town, in the cities, on that side of the mountain, I live on this side of a mountain, and on that side of the mountain, the water restrictions are really hectic. It's hectic. It's really, really hectic. So, hang on. Okay, I'm back. Anyway, so nobody can use their swimming pools. It's hot. And no one can use their swimming pools. And they're only allowed to use a set amount of water a day. So, yeah. Very few cold showers as well. I'm thinking most people have air cons by now. So, that is that about our weather. Okay, just to tell you the plans from now till for the next year, because I'm already planning for the next year. I've been watching, you haven't seen a lot of me on YouTube of late. That's my dog. Sorry about that. I really can't control that very much. Haven't seen a lot of me because I've been really just busy. I died a lot and I had several markets, and yeah, 2 of them were a total bust, so I'm not doing them again. Having said that, so in the meantime, I have been watching a lot of YouTube channels while knitting or whatever, doing whatever, and I've learned quite a lot. This has been a learning process for me. I've seen that most of the podcasts, so they working from their iPads or whatever, I think. I'm not sure. Or from, I don't know. Have segments. So they have like they'll talk about an FO, and then the FOs, and then they'll talk about WIPs, and then they'll talk about, say, if they are indie dyers. Indie, by the way, for those who don't know, South Africans, just means independent. Indie dyers, and then they'll talk about shop updates, And then at the very last bit, they'll have like a chatter segment that they'll talk about their own lives. And I'm going to be switching in that direction just to give the whole video and the podcast a bit more structure. And so that it's not just a sort of a yapping thing the whole time. And also because I'm not a very routine person, I'm not a very structured person, it becomes difficult for me to do everything in order without putting up little boxes. That also means that when you are fed up listening to me, or you only want to listen to a small bit, and or you don't want to listen to my personal experiences or whatever, you can just leave. So you can listen to, say, up to shop update, and then just go. So I think that makes it a bit more acceptable. This entire channel will be about, and still is, it is and will be, about dyeing and spinning and knitting and crocheting and whatever I'm busy with at that point. So yarn related stuff, sewing related stuff, the occasional art piece, if and when I start painting again. Probably happen at some point. And then that is what the channel is about. It's not going to change. Shop updates. That's the other thing I want to talk about. I have now one shop that I supply for wholesale. I will put the link for that shop down below. I have another possibility in the near future for one other person I will supply wholesale to, and that will be it. I have looked at the whole wholesale concept, and it will drive me crazy if I have more than that. Simply because I will have to supply and supply and supply, and it will kill me. It will just kill my creative processes, and that's not going to work for me. So I will use the website that I have now for a shop, and I will also have shop updates. So I will tell you on YouTube I have a shop update. Then I will put it on Instagram and I put it on Facebook. That shop update will mean that you can go onto that shop, onto my website, and order whatever wool is available. If it's out of stock, it's out of stock. Then I can really not do a lot about that. There's been a lot of possibilities for me concerning dyeing that I was thinking about, and I have decided to stick to animal fibers, most specifically really merino. There are a lot of blends out there, and I've been seeing a lot of blends, stellino and all sorts of funny stuff. But I don't think we have a lot of that in South Africa. We have, for instance, merino and linen blends, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's a very thin yarn. It's even thinner than a basic lace yarn. So, yeah, I'll look at all the options. I'll think about it, but at the moment, what I will be dyeing on, the base I will be dyeing on, is merino, sock weight, and maybe double knit at some point. When we get towards winter, I will try and get in double knit. At the moment, the sock weight, though, is a really popular yarn. The meterage in 100 gram sock weight is good enough to work with like 2 ankle socks. So you can make you can make a set of ankle socks with 1 sock weight. Now, there's been a lot of debate about this. A lot of debate. Oh, so many debates about what yarn to use for socks. Now, a lot of people would tell you it has to have the nylon in. It does not have to have the nylon in. In fact, I prefer it without the nylon. Because they say that it strengthens the yarn, I've heard so many people talk about that overseas. I've listened to so many podcasts. And people still use merino non-superwash, just the old school merino for socks. And they last years and years without nylon. I think it does get them, in hindsight, while I was chatting to another lady about it, she said, well, the only thing the nylon does do is does increase the memory of the sock. But as far as the quality of the yarn goes, and I don't know, I don't think there's a difference. I've seen podcasts where people talked about using just good old wool, which is sheep wool. In our case, it will be mostly merino because that's the sheep we have here that we get the yarn, the wool from. But they say it works great. So I think every person needs to find what works for them. I love my sock weights. Yeah. Anyway, so as far as FOs are concerned, let's go to FOs because I don't have any FOs, so that will be very short. Do I have FOs? No, don't. I've been dying and I've been sewing and I've been going absolutely bonkers with two very stupid decisions to do two very silly markets, which was really not worth my time or my money for that matter. What I can show you is this. I am knitting socks. My first sock, I'm not showing to anybody. I did show it on my Facebook page. It was not waste. It was with horrible yarn to start with, but other than that, it was really just a tester. I just needed to understand the terms that they're using and the whatever you have to do. So I got that bit right. I will put the link for this pattern down below. I will also put the link for the YouTube channel where I followed the. Just change this lighting quickly. Ooh, no, that's too much. Sorry, but the studio lighting is a bit weird. The pattern was written by the Unapologetic Knitter. And it is my favorite vanilla socks. That's the pattern. She has another pattern that I will put down below that says the extra vanilla socks. The extra vanilla socks. I'll put that pattern down below because these have no contrast colors on the heels or, you know, like the heel or the toe or the cuff. It's just one color. Let me see. The Unapologetic Knitter. She has a website and she's also on Ravelry. You'll find her there. Got some very nice free patterns. I'll tell you that. She really does. Okay, to show you my sock and to show you what I did with it. So this is my sock. Please don't laugh. Please just don't laugh. Okay, because I actually got this right. Except for here and there I've got a mistake or two. But I actually have a sock. Yes, a sock. A sock with a cuff and a heel and a toe. And I ended it off with Kitchener stitch, which is very, very difficult for me to do. Okay, I'll show this to you. I started out with 2.5 I did started the cuff, the cast on, and the first row with these light with Eddie double pointers. So this is the specific this is Eddie Calibri. Sorry, I got a bit distracted there. So these are 5 double pointed needles that has a lace tip on the one side and just a blunt tip on the other side. Now I prefer working with a lace tip, which is where my problem came in. Because whatever your preference is, that's your preference. Some people prefer not working with a lace tip. Some people prefer working with a rounded tip. I prefer a lace tip because I actually do work very tight. So, anyway, these are amazing needles. This is not the needle's fault. The problem isn't with the needle. Problem is with winner. That means me. For anybody listening, it's not South African. If you are South African, you know what winner means. Anyway, so I worked them. I started with that, and then I switched over to the Addy Premium 2.5 millimeter, 20 centimeters. These. Now, my hands just aren't used to working like this. They're not used to working like this. I think if you are used to working like this, you will love these needles. Honestly, they're awesome needles. They don't. And then there's another one called Sock Wonder. I think I showed that one before. Yeah, here it is. Sock Wonder. That's also, it's a 25 centimeter one. It's 5 centimeters longer. And it has like a small tip on the one side and a long tip on the other side. You see? I can't work with these cables. My hands just aren't used to it. I work way too tight, and it was a big fat struggle. So I'm putting those back on the rack as well as these. If you are a looser knitter or you are used to working with a short cable, you will love these. Honestly, they're excellent quality. They're light. They're not heavy. They're not difficult to work with. My hands just don't understand them. So I did the toe, which I mentioned. I finished with Kitchener stitch. I did. And I'll put the link down for the YouTube channel with, well, so far the best Kitchener stitch tutorial I've seen. Yeah, it's quite an old one actually, but it's good. Finished it off with Kitchener stitch. There are all these little bumps and fluffy bitties in between that you can only see if you look very close. You see? No, you can't see it yet. Do you see that bit over there? That one? Those are I am struggling my butt off stitches. But I know I will get it right eventually. And then I wanted to show you this on that pattern. Look at this heel. Ach, nee man, wait. Look at this heel. Look at the texture. Isn't that amazing? I never thought I'd be able to do a texture like this. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, it's awesome. And it's knit, pull, and slip. That's what it is. It's knit, pull, and slip. Jeez. This is like, the whole sock consists out of mostly decreases. It's just knitting. You increase here on the heel flap because you do it on its own. The only trickier bit was to pick up these stitches, but because the whole pattern gives the heel flap creates this garter pattern here. I don't know if you can see that, the garter pattern here at the bottom. Because it creates that, it was so easy to pick up. The previous one I was struggling my butt off. This is really easy to do. So wonderful pattern. I'll put that down below. I'll put down the tutorial. Anyway, I ended the toe because I just couldn't struggle with it anymore, and I didn't have a 2.5 fixed long tail anyway, or interchangeable. I only had 2.25 and 2.75. So I decided to do the 2.25, the toe with a 2.25. Just try and fix this lightning, lighting a little bit, so that it is not. Oh well, you'll have to stick with it to see. This is what I'm working on right now. I've got the cuff going. It looks smaller, but I think it will stretch out just the same. I'm almost done with the cuff now. This is Eddie lace tips. I love this. Look at it. Okay, there. See those tips? Eddie lace tips. It's not Eddie click. Eddie click is the interchangeables. Oh, I figured that one out, by the way. The interchangeable ones. The difference between an Eddie click and a Knit Pro, which I have some here right now as well, is that Eddie clicks in, whereas Knit Pro and Chiago and all the others, you screw them. It sort of screws in. I haven't used these. Just I'll show you what I have. I should actually take one out and just use it and be able to tell you, just to give a proper review. So I've got the Knit Pro Nova. Let me just move the sticker quickly. I'm a bit concerned about the tip though, because I think it's going to be too blunt for me. I won't know if I haven't worked with it yet, and I haven't. As I said before, I'm not a huge Knit Pro fan, but I mean, I won't know until I've tested it. These are the Knit Pro needles that I have, Nova. As I said before, I can get in the other ones as well. So that's your needle. For those of you who don't know these. And then you get your cable separately with these two stoppers, and then you also get this little screwy thing in here. I'll show you. This a key that you use to no, you're not going to see it. You've got this like kit. So this one is just to get the length of this cable. I think it's a shorter one. Oh no, it's quite a long one. It's a 100 centimeter one. Trust me to take up a 100 centimeter one. And then you have the key. this little key that you use to help attach the needle point firmly to the cable. And you also have these little stoppers, which is kind of nice. Needle stoppers that you use to prevent your yarn from falling off your needles, your stitches. Okay, so that's what I have with me. I haven't used them yet, as I said. I will actually have to use them to give a review on them. As far as I know, people who are Knit Pro fans love them. So I'm not gonna, I can't really say anything about it until I've used it, which I probably will very soon, because I'm going to start a shawl that will need a 4mm needle, and then I'll try it out and I'll tell you how it works for me. But if I have to compare the lace tip of Eddie and this tip, I'm not sure which one will work best for me. I'll have to figure that one out. I really will just have to figure it out. This is a 4mm. I'm not sure what the smallest one is I have. I'll just go have to check. Anyway, that's that. As far as needles and knitting and stuff is concerned, I have two other WIPs on the line. The one is just a liner shawl. I think I left that bag in the bucky because I couldn't find it. And the other one is a biased blanket that I started, and I've got the first small little triangle happening there. Right now, I am finish one pair of socks. Okay, so what else do I have to show you? I have some project bags that I made. New project bags. I've got these two. They're basically the same, except that they are two different sizes. So it's this one with a blue thingy zip, and then this is what it looks like on the inside. It's like a vintage feel to it. And this one, which is just bigger. You see they all have bottoms, and they all have little straps on the side, and it also looks like this. The zip is different though. I'm actually planning on doing the next lot with zips that has a ring on it. No, not a zip that has a ring on it. The strap will have a ring on it, and we'll have some nice little goodies on there. Got some other ideas as well, but I'll share them with you as soon as I've got them up and running. Now, this bag I'm going to show you is my I will not swear bag, but I swore. Anyway, yeah, I'd rather not talk about this one. Not now. Seeing as I only have 2 minutes left. I don't know where time went to now. Anyway, this is what it looks like. It's got a denim bottom. It's a drawstring. It's got this sort of vintage on the outside. Just a quick update. These are yarns that are still available. This one is Toes in the Water, turquoise. It's like a darkish green. I think this is Beyond the Sea. I've got some of my orange left. No, wait, which one is this now? No, it's not. It's Pink Cadillac. Sorry, my light is terrible now. Pink Cadillac. I also have Starry Night left, which I'm taking one for myself. I've also got some green grass of home left. I've got quite a couple of other colors. No, I don't. Wait. I've got When Grey Skies Turn to Blue. I've got You Are My Sunshine. And oh, they all year behind. Sorry for my face. I've got one left of these. This is blue suede shoes. Tie a yellow ribbon. I've got still a couple of skeins left of each of these. Mostly of the semi-solids. The others, the variegated ones, are all sold out. So that's it for today. I will do a shop update tomorrow, so please watch out for that. I will put all of these things on my shop. I will put a link down on Instagram. I will also put a link down on my Facebook page. So please come and check out there what's available and the prices. That will be my shop update, and I will put it up tomorrow. Okay, so my time's up. I'm already a minute longer than 30 minutes. So I will see you again. Thank you for visiting me. Thank you for taking time to just watch. And as I said, it will be changing. That you'll already see the changes from the next episode. There will actually be like an episode. Oh, you know. So yeah, so we live and we learn. Anyway, bye guys. See you again.